Hare Krishna. So, welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. And you all can hear me very clearly. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let's get started. And I'm going to share my. So let's start with the Mangalacharan prayers, and then we will start with the Srimad Bhagavatam prayers. So we'll start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So yeah, please find a nice quiet place. I'm very excited about the discussion. About all discussions, I'm excited as long as it is on Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. But I have selected a slightly different format today. I hope you will like it. But anyway, also if you can, turn on your video, if possible. It's nice for me to at least see you all. Feels more personal. If not possible, then fine. For whatever time it's possible, fine, no problem. I'm going to share my screen and we will recite the invocation verses for Srimad Bhagavatam. So it will be this screen. Okay, you can see the screen. Okay. So this is our slides, usual slides. Last time I forgot to copy the slides to this computer. So topics from Srimad Bhagavatam class, and then Sukadev Goswami speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, and then again Suta Goswami speaking Bhagavatam to Shaunaka Adi Rishis. And our invocation verse, please repeat after me, this one like we do usually. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloker Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. All right. So we are back to the discussion of Durvasa Muni and King Ambarish. This is a very, very celebrated chapter in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada also spoke about Ambarish Maharaj at so many places. In the Bhagavad Gita itself, he has spoken his commentaries or his purports. He has spoken about Ambarish Maharaj so many times, and how he was completely surrendered in uh, all his, all his parts of the body were surrendered and worshipping and engaged in bhakti of Lord Krishna. He has quoted it at least 3 times along with the verses. So this is very, very beautiful chapter and with a lot of learnings. So we will go through some of those. Last week we went through the entire pastime in detail, but we did not go into the learnings and the specific verses. So we will try to do that today. So very quickly, first, I wanted to uh, uh, let me change the mouse because this one makes noise. Hold on. Okay. Interesting. Yep. Okay. So last time we did not go into the verses. Oh, why this mouse stops working? Just worked. What's going on? Okay. We'll discard it. Okay. So we'll just stick to my noisy mouse. The story of King Ambarish. So first of all, so this is present in 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapters 4 and 5. So Amabarish Maharaj is one of the descendants, one of the most celebrated descendants in the dynasty of Vivishwan or sun god. Of course, Lord Ram personally appeared in the same dynasty. And he is extremely well known, Ambarish Maharaj, for his extreme bhakti, his unalloyed, very, very determined devotional service. So that is what is shown in the picture here, and we will go through some verses which describe his devotional service, how he is all the time engaged in worshipping the Supreme Lord. So because of that, all his kingdom, all his he was a completely, everything was working perfectly, and he was able to perform devotional service very nicely because of that. Then what happens one time, he wants to perform Ekadashi Vrat for 1 year, and he performs that Vrata along with his wife, and after 1 year he's supposed to break the fast. So when he's going to break the fast, right at that time Durvasa Muni comes, and then Ambarish Maharaj, being such a nice devotee, he invites Durvasa Muni, offers him to have meal. Durvasa Muni gladly accepts, but then says, let me take a bath in the Yamuna river and I will come back. And then he takes little long time, or actually a lot of long time, to come back. And Durvasa Muni or Ambarish Maharaj in the meantime is thinking that the fast breaking time is going, so passing away. And then he consults the Brahmanas and where was I? He consults the Brahmanas, and then they advise him that, okay, if you take a drop of water, then neither you are disrespecting the guest. It's not like taking bhojan or ahar or food before the guest, plus you are breaking your fast as well. So he takes a sip of water. Then Durvasa Muni arrives and he realizes that he has had water, and he becomes very angry. How can you have anything before the guest? And you are not a good host, you are not a good person, you are not a good Vaishnava. and he creates this fiery demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. But Ambarish Maharaj is always under the protection of the Supreme Lord, under the protection of the Sudarshan Chakra. And the Sudarshan Chakra, in 1 second, it kills this demon, this fiery demon that you see here. And then not only that, Sudarshan Chakra starts chasing Durvasa Muni. And then Durvasa Muni starts running, goes from one place to the other, and nowhere he gets any relief. He cannot escape this powerful Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord. So finally, then he goes to the abode of Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma says, I cannot do anything. Then he goes to Lord Shiva. He says also, I cannot do anything. Then he goes, and Lord Shiva advises him to go to Vaikuntha Lok, because the Sudarshan Chakra belongs to Lord Vishnu. So he says that maybe Lord Vishnu can do something. And he goes there, and Lord Vishnu, unfortunately, also says, I cannot do anything. I am in complete control of my devotee. So, because you have offended the devotee, only the devotee can save you. I am in complete control. Even if I want to, I cannot save you. So you better go to Ambarish Maharaj and you ask for forgiveness. That is the only upay. That is the only solution. So then Durvasa Muni goes and falls at the feet of Ambarish Maharaj. You can see here he's falling at his feet. Ambarish Maharaj actually feels very embarrassed. Why is such a great sage, such a great Brahman falling at my feet? And he realizes it's because of this Sudarshan Chakra. So he prays to Sudarshan Chakra to calm down, to not harm Durvasa Muni. And after a lot of prayers, Sudarshan Chakra becomes pacified and goes away. And then Durvasa Muni glorifies Ambarish Maharaj as one of the best devotee of Lord Vishnu. And he says that I have never met such a wonderful devotee. And he requests for blessings, and then Ambarish Maharaj requests for blessings. And then, they have meals together, prasadam together, and then Durvasa Muni departs. So this is the story of a great devotee of the Lord, Ambarish Maharaj. And by the way, another part is, all this while when Durvasa Muni was running around, Ambarish Maharaj didn't eat anything, because his fast was broken by the sip of water. It was not that he was feeling hungry or anything. He kept waiting for Durvasa Muni. After very long time, Durvasa Muni comes back after his tour from Vaikuntha Lok and Kailash Parvat, after meeting Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. All this while, Ambarish Maharaj has been waiting for Durvasa Muni to come back. Only then he would have food. So these are the great qualities of a devotee of the Lord. So that is a very quick snapshot in like less than 10 minutes of the whole pastime that we discussed last week in detail. So we spent the whole time discussing this pastime in detail last time. So today we covered a quick snapshot. So here, we see this one. There is this under slide. You see Ambarish Maharaj praying to the Sudarshan Chakra, and then the Sudarshan Chakra leaves. So now we will discuss the learnings from the discussion from this pastime. So there are so many learnings from this pastime. So I have a slightly different format that I have thought for this learning. I was looking forward to make it little more interactive, and we'll see how that goes. So I have structured the learning in form of question answers. So let's see. So the first thing is about the devotional quality of Ambarish Maharaj. So he had no attachment to material opulence. Even though he was the king of the entire world, he was fully detached. So the question, I want devotees to say something or to interact or to share their understanding. Many of you, or almost all of you, have gone through Bhagavad Gita, have been in either previous classes or have already a very, very good understanding of Bhagavad Gita through the various association, etc. So from your prior understanding, what do you think, how should devotees consider the value of material opulence? What should they consider material opulence to be? How should they treat material opulence? Anyone?
It should be considered as a dream.
It should be considered as a dream. Very nice. Anybody else?
It will,
As a
and we should think that it is the energy of the Lord and we should use it for his service.
As a dream. Very nice. Very good point. And what else? Other devotees? Why should it be considered as a dream? Let's ask that.
Because it's temporary.
Yes, the dream is temporary
And illusory.
and
Illusory.
illusory. Yes, it really doesn't exist. When we are in the dream, we are very attached to it. It's almost seems real, but when we wake up, we realize that it was all just a illusion. Very nice, very nice. What else?
Though we have, by God's grace, though we have some material opulence, we have to use it as a vehicle and just a medium to progress in the spiritual path.
Yes, all the opulence should be. So should we give up the opulence or should we keep the opulence? Anybody wants to?
We should keep the opulence and use it for the service of the Lord.
Very nice. Anybody else? I think Srini Prabhu, you unmuted. Anything you want to say?
We should consider that as God's mercy to get the material opulence, and we should use for the service.
We should use the opulence in the service of the Lord. Yes. Just like nothing belongs to us. And if we have received something, we should not think that we received it because of our, some people are born in a very rich family. What did they do to be born in a rich family? They were just born, and it's a different discussion how come they were born in a rich family. Or in some cases, some people get lucky. Some people may think that they have done a lot of hard work, but so many people do hard work, but only few people get the fruits. Not everybody who does hard work. Some people do hard work and it all goes to failure. It doesn't work out. So there is Lord's hand in whatever we are getting, and we should always consider this as Lord's property and use it for serving the Lord. Very nice. Anything else? Now I don't have practical experience of this, but at a very extreme level, what do pure devotees think of the opulence? Anybody? Those who have not spoken?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would like to give one example which Srila Prabhupada often gave. It was like a $100 bill is lying on the floor, and three kinds of people approach in three different ways. So one is the bhogi who just accepts it and is like, go on, okay, now all the opulence is mine and I'll use it for my enjoyment. Another is Tyagi, who just renounces that, okay, let it be. It's there, let it be. The one whom it belongs, he will come and he'll take. And there's the third one who will pick up that note and give it and inquire who that note belongs to and go back and give it to him. So that is what our attitude should be, because all opulence, everything belongs to Krishna. So whenever we receive something, that's by his mercy only, and we should give it back to him. It's like when we receive something, he has sent it so that we can use it back for him. and gain even more. That is His grace.
Very nice. Excellent point. Excellent. Very nice. So, then the person should find out who this belongs to and give it to him, to the rightful owner. And this property that we have, this opulence that we have found in this material world, if you go searching in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam, we will realize that this property actually belongs to Krishna. So we go and give it back to Krishna, and Krishna, out of his mercy, gives it back to us. Srila Prabhupada did so much for Lord Krishna, spread his message, built so many temples and everything. And he himself was, became very popular. Everybody had so much wonderful regard for Srila Prabhupada that, he was more rich than, the richest person out there. It's not that he considered the wealth to be his, but he used it properly in Krishna's service. And at a very extreme level, there's another pastime of Sanatan Gosvami. So at one time, somebody came to Sanatan Gosvami. So somehow Sanatan Goswami got some gold, and Sanatan Goswami discarded it in some garbage outside his hut, and he threw it away. Sometime later, a person came asking, "Oh, I heard you have some wealth. Can you please share with me?" Maybe I'm a Chintamani stone, basically, which can convert anything to gold, something like that. He got, and he threw it away. Then somebody came to him and said, "Can you?" I'm not remembering correctly. Asked him, "Can you give me some wealth?" And then he goes and says, "Yeah, it is in the garbage there. Go and pick it up." He says, "What? It is in the garbage?" So he goes there and he finds this Chintamani stone, and then thinks that he would not have thrown it in the garbage if this was so valuable. He must have something, a bigger stone, which he's not giving me. This is a small one which he has thrown away. So he comes back and asks Sanatan Goswami, "You have thrown this away. You must be having something more precious than this stone. What is that? I want that thing." He says, "Really, you want that? Something that is more precious?" He says, "Yes, I want that." He says, "Then you first have to go throw this away. Then I will give you that." He says, "Sure, you will give me that?" "Yes, I will give you." So this person goes and throws away the Chintamani stone and comes back and says, "I have thrown it. Now give me the more precious one." And then Sanatan Goswami gives him the name of the holy name of the Lord. He says that the holy name of the Lord is more precious than any material wealth. So that is how Sanatan Goswami treats material opulence, and that is the value of material opulence. So again, the learning here is not that we should get rid of material opulence or we should discard it, but the learning is that we should properly use it, like the example that you gave about finding $100 bill. By the way, that example is present in the purport of the first verse, I believe the first verse of Nectar of Instruction. So those who are doing the Bhakti Shastri study, when we will do Nectar of Instruction classes, we will cover that example. Srila Prabhupada has given in his purport very nicely. Okay, so good discussion on this topic, value of material opulence. I want to, at this point, go through some of the verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this chapter, which highlight this topic. So, verse numbers 15, 16, and 17. One second. So 15 and 16, you can see the screen. Am I sharing the app or the whole screen? Okay. So this verse goes like this. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ambarisho Mahabhagaha Sapta Dvipavatim Mahim Avyayam Cha Shriyam Labdhva Vibhavam Chatulam Bhuvi Mene ati durlabham pumsam sarvam tat swapna samstutam vidvan vibhava nirvanam tamo vishati yat puman. So the meaning is Ambarisho Mahabhagaha, the first line, either here you can see or here. Ambarisho Mahabhagaha, the great king Ambarish, Sapta Dvipa Vatim Mahim. So he was the king of this Sapta Dvipa Vatim, the continent or the planet consisting of these 7 islands or the 7 continents. So again, I was sharing, I think last time, that the Earth planet has the 7 continents. We know that today, but the Bhagavatam knew that even at that time, even though the American continent and all that was discovered much later according to modern understanding. But the Bhagavatam always knew that the Earth planet has 7 islands or Sapta Dvipam. Avyayam cha Shriyam Labdva. He achieved this inexhaustible. Labdva means to get it. This inexhaustible Avyayam, inexhaustible Shriyam. Shriya means wealth. Shri is another name for goddess Lakshmi, and she represents wealth. So he got this immense amount of wealth, and Vibhavam cha Atulam Bhuvi, and this whole Vaibhava, which is opulence on this earth. But how he treated it. So the first verse is telling what all Ambarish Maharaj was the owner or king of. So he was the king or the owner of this extreme amount of property, basically everything that existed on this planet. And how he treated it, because he was a great devotee, what was his outlook? His outlook was, Mene ati durlabham pumsam. Although this is very rare, this whole opulence is very durlabh, ati durlabham. To get something like this, he considered it like a sarvam tat swapna samstutam. He considered it like a swapna, like a dream. Swapna samstutam, as if it is a dream. Vidvan vibhava nirvanam. And like he had this understanding of a vidvan, of a very learned person, that vibhava nirvanam, it can go away at any time. And that's why it is like a dream. Tamo vishati yat puman. And this person who does not think like that then becomes entangled, becomes thinking like this is mine. And if even little reduction happens in the wealth, he becomes very, very sad, very disappointed, very disturbed. So Ambarish Maharaj was not in that category. This next verse is even more, so the next verse, which is number 17, we'll go through that as well. Vasudeve Bhagavati tad bhakteshu cha sadhushu prapto bhavam param vishwam yene idam loshtravat smritam. So this word loshtravrat, this last word is very important, which means that it is as insignificant as a piece of stone. Smritam means to consider. So he considered it as insignificant as a piece of stone. What he considered as significant as a piece of stone? All this universe that he got. Prapto bhavam param vishwam. This param, prapta means after getting this whole vishwa, this whole universe, this whole world, he still considered it as a piece of stone. Why did he do that? Because he was a pure devotee of the Lord. Vasudeve Bhagavati tad bhakteshu chada sadhushu. So Maharaj Ambarish was a great devotee of 3 kinds of people: Vasudeva, tad bhakteshu, and sadhusu. So he was the devotee or the follower of 3 kinds of people: of Vasudeva, his devotees, and all the sadhus. So those who follow the footsteps of Lord Krishna, or those who follow the footsteps of those who follow the footsteps of Krishna, have this kind of mentality towards all kind of opulence, that they don't consider it their own. So this is a very, very big learning, first learning from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, there is another verse. We won't go into the word by word of that, but this is, so we talked about opulence at a material level. Now we will go to opulence at a little more subtle level, and this is explained in verse number 25. So we'll just read the translation of this verse. Those who are saturated with the transcendental happiness of rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead are uninterested even in the achievements of great mystics, of the great yogis. Okay, for such achievements do not enhance the transcendental bliss felt by a devotee who always thinks of Krishna within the core of his heart. So even all the siddhis that the yogis can obtain, they have all these wonderful magical powers that they can obtain through their siddhis of yoga. A bhakta is not interested in even in those things. Those are just material gimmicks, and he considers them to be completely meaningless or completely of no value in front of the bhakti of the Lord. So these are some of the glories of the devotees and their relationship to material opulence. Any reflections or any comments anybody has?
Can I say something, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
So I was just thinking, you know, a lot of, you know, everything, whatever is on this earth, you know, any wealth, you know, it always belongs to Krishna and belongs to Krishna, and it will always belong to Krishna. But a lot of people from so many generations, they claim proprietorship over the land, you know, this belongs to me, this belongs to me. But, you know, a lot of people have passed away, and then the proprietorship, you know, like the ownership goes on to different people, but still they think that everything belongs to them until they leave their body. So nothing, the earth is still there, but, you know, the land, you know, the name changes, you know, on the paper, but the land, everything belongs to Krishna. So everything, whatever is there, belongs to Krishna. And also Ratan, I was listening to one of the lecture from Ratanath Swami the other day, and he mentioned that whatever we have, either we can give it, offer it to Krishna with loving devotional service. If not, he'll anyways take it from us at the time we leave the body. So, you know, it's our choice, you know, if we either can offer it with love, or he'll take it at the time of death. So it's better to offer it as a loving service to Krishna. So I just wanted to say.
Very, very, very excellent point. It is going to get taken away anyway. Okay. And better to offer it to Krishna, and in that way you let it go from your hands, rather than Yamaraj coming and taking it away at the time of death. So in the former case, we get the friendship and the love of Krishna. In the latter case, we are bound by just the entanglements of the material world. So anyway, it has to go. So it's like the way, yes, it is this example or this explanation is given. The point is that it's a no-brainer. It has to go away anyway. Better let it go and receive the love of Krishna in return. Very nice point. Anything else? Okay, let's go to the next topic. So we have a lot of topics and a lot of wonderful things to discuss. So the next one is a very, very celebrated portion of this chapter and of Srimad Bhagavatam, is full engagement in Krishna consciousness. How to engage fully, completely in Krishna consciousness. So the question is, how should devotees engage in full Krishna consciousness? Anybody that has not, I'm trying to request participation from everyone. So anybody wants to share? Maybe those who have not shared so far.
Shravanam, Kirtanam,
Very
and
nice.
association with satsang. Satsang or sadhu sang.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So you have hit on the top 3 points: sadhu sangha or satsanga of sadhus, and shravanam and kirtanam. Those are absolutely the top 3 ways of engaging oneself in Krishna consciousness. Very nice. Any other thoughts? I mean, you can't go wrong. There are so many answers of engaging oneself in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
We should engage all our senses in the service of Krishna.
Yes, all our senses. Anybody would like to give some more description of what kind, in what way?
Can I do?
Yes, you can do it too.
So, like, we can use our eyes to see the form of the Lord, the deity. We can use our hands to do service to the Lord and chanting, like doing the beads.
Yes.
And we can use our mind and focus on the name of the Lord. And we can use our legs and do parikrama around the Lord and Tulsi Maharani. And we can use our tongue in chanting and eating Krishna Prasadam.
Very nice. Now, one question: how can, let's say, we use our children in the service of the Lord? Everybody, all the adults have children. How can we use our children in service of the Lord? You can raise your hands if you want to say.
Chanting the Maha Mantra with them.
Chanting the Mahamantra with them. Very nice. Anybody else or anything else? Any other way to say it? Yes, Sushilpa Mataji.
I mean, raise the kids to become Krishna consciousness.
Yes, very nice. To inspire them, or in some way to enable them to become devotees of Krishna. So that would be engaging them or using the children in Krishna consciousness. Very nice. Anything else that comes to mind? Any more details? I mean, it's not something very different, but something else that one can say. How else can we engage children?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So with small children, it would be better if the parents engage, serving the Lord as a playful thing instead of making it very serious. So that way they develop attachment, as well as they don't. They have like sweet memories associated with service. Also, like singing kirtan or bhajan with them.
Sharing Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sharing Krishna pastimes and enacting them, playing as if that we are doing the drama, and then memorizing them key shlok of Bhagavad Gita or and other important bhajans for the starting.
Very nice. So you both hit actually the 2 main points which I was hoping to bring out. So yes, engaging one second. Engaging children in Krishna consciousness is the general principle, but the way you both brought it out is exactly the point I was hoping to mention, which is by our own actions. Instead of telling them what to do, of course we should tell, but also we should be who we are trying to tell, which means walk our talk. That is point number 1. So the best way in which children can learn anything, and definitely Krishna consciousness, is by our example. And so that has 2 benefits. We ourselves become Krishna conscious, and our children, by our example, become Krishna conscious. So both benefit in that way. Instead of we just telling them, children never will do something that we are not doing. The second point is in a very loving way. What exactly, or one of the things what it means, and we have learned this sort of in our family as well, that one should not be very strict. And the other thing is one should not be very attached to only a certain way of doing it. with children, we have to be open. Okay, if this doesn't work it this way, give some flexibility, relax this, do it in this way. The end goal is if they are making progress, if 1 month back they were here, 1 month later they are here, and they are not perfect over here, but 6 months later they will improve. And like that, like the children's bodies and their other aspects in which they are growing, in Krishna consciousness also they can grow. So as parents, I stress this a lot. One of the biggest ways in engaging as parents in Krishna consciousness is to give Krishna consciousness to the children. That is very, very, very important aspect of parents' life. One should not abandon this responsibility and just look at one's own sadhana and neglect the children. So this is very, very important part of parents' life. Yes, Renuka Mataji, you were going to say something.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Right from childhood, we used to do the lullabies for children when they are sleeping. They like lullabies very much and they keep on asking for that. And in addition to that, we do bedtime stories, Krishna Kathas. And by that, we inculcate Krishna consciousness and they keep on asking questions about Krishna.
Yes.
That's how we can, in a very homely way, we can encourage them.
Absolutely. And you don't have to then encourage them. They naturally become attracted. It's the thing that they have picked up from the beginning. Then you don't have to struggle later on in life. Very nice. Any other devotees want anything to say on how to engage oneself fully, whether in the area of children or otherwise?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
I would like to give my own example what had happened with me when I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I was engaged a lot in enacting dramas of Krishna and watching Little Krishna a lot. So because kids like to do drama, kids like to do dance, kids like to enact, kids like to watch TV. So right now, by the grace of many devotees, we have such TV shows and dramas which can actually help us become Krishna conscious and Krishna is so attractive that children automatically like him. So it's like even if you give little bit of Krishna, they will become Krishna conscious eventually.
Yes, very true. However, with these modern technologies and all, we have to be careful as well. They are double-edged. So we may use it in one way, and then if we are not careful, it can hurt us. It's like a knife. You can, if used with care, the knife is a very useful instrument. Without it, you cannot even cook. But if you are careless, then it can cut your finger also. So yes, very nice. Any other devotees want to share anything? This is very interactive. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji.
I think we should be steadfast and determined to have a sadhana. You make sure you follow some regulative principles and you track your progress, and everything has to be like, you can't, like there's this, the reason why we do 108 rounds and we chant so many rounds per day and everything. So I guess you'll have to adopt a practice where, you kind of track your progress and make sure you improve in your sadhana bhakti.
Absolutely correct. Yes, very good point. So it's not like for children, we can be flexible, but as adults, we have to have a lot of determined sadhana. So sadhana with determination is very important. There is this very beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 2 verses which show the internal mentality and external mentality, or external, not mentality, but the external aspects of a devotee. In 9th chapter, let me open another screen so we don't lose this. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, and verse number 14 is describing externally. And it says, this is a very, very important verse to be memorized. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dradhavrataah Dasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. So the first line says Satatam kirtayanto mam, like Shri Devi Mataji said, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So Satatam means always kirtayanto mam. They are always doing kirtan, but not in a just do it today, don't do it tomorrow. Yatantascha dridha vrataha. That dridha vrataha word Lord Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. With strong determination, dridha vrata. So you have to have some rules and regulations. Absolutely. And that is the meaning of dridha vrataha. So that is what is said in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, there has to be rules and regulations, and that is called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, according to the rules and regulations. At a very, very mature stage, very, very high stage, one then comes to the stage of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, where it becomes spontaneous. But that is at a very advanced stage. One should never consider himself to be at that stage. That is a sign of disqualification. If you think I am in that stage of spontaneous devotional service, that itself is a red flag. Those who are at that level think themselves to be very insignificant, very unqualified. It is for others to say they are in that stage, but they never consider themselves to be at that stage. So oneself, one should consider only as a unqualified person aspiring to make progress in devotional service. Yes, Nishtha, you have your hand up.
Yes, Haribol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Haribol. I always chant with my kids, and I always take them to distribute books, and I always watch Krishna pastimes with them.
Wonderful. No doubt your kids have such wonderful devotional qualities.
Hi, Prabhu.
I'm very impressed and inspired by your children. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, so let us read these 3 verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. These are very, very celebrated verses. They appear in Srila Prabhupada's purports. I remember definitely in the 2nd chapter, and I think in the 6th chapter as well. 2 places in Bhagavad Gita, definitely, and there is a 3rd place as well, where Srila Prabhupada has quoted this entire section which you are seeing on the screen, verse numbers 18, 19, and 20, and quoted by Acharyas at many places. So I will try to recite them, and please forgive any mispronunciations. Savai manah Krishna padarvindayoh vachamsi vaikuntha gunarnuvarnane karau harir mandir marjana adishu shrutim chakarachyuta satkathodaye mukunda lingalaya darshane drisho tadbhritya gatra saparshe anga sangamam घ्राणं च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्यारसनां तदर्पिते पादौ हरेः क्षेत्रपदनुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेश पद अभिवन्दने कामं च दास्येन तु कामकाम्यया यथा Shloka Janashraya Ratihi. So here in this verse, Shukadev Goswami is describing 11 ways in which Ambarish Maharaj is using his entire body, including his mind and his desires, in the service of the Lord. So the first one, he says, Savai, that means he, Manah Krishna Padaravindayo. His mana, or his mind, was always attached at the Krishna Pada Arvinda. Pada means feet, at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Guna Anuvarnane. Vacha means his words were always engaged in Vaikuntha Guna Anuvarnane, which means in singing the glories. His speech was always engaged in singing the glories of Vaikuntha. Then his hands, karau, in Harer Mandira Marjana. Mandira Marjana means to clean the temple. in Shikshashtakam, there is the verse Cheto Darpana Marjanam, which means cleaning the heart. So the darpan, the mirror of the heart, that is the process, is chanting the holy name. That is Shikshashtakam. So Marjana means to clean. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So here it is Karo Harer Mandir Marjanam. So cleaning the temple of the Lord with his hands. Shrutim Chakara Achyuta Sat Katha Udaye. Shrutim, hearing what? Achyuta Sat Katha. So Achyuta is none other than Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, hearing his katha. And then Drishau, with his eyes, what is he doing? Mukunda Linga Alaya Darshana. Mukunda is Lord Hari or Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, looking at his deities in the temple. And then by his sparsha, Tadbhritya means the servants of that Achyuta, that Lord. Gatra Sparshe Anga Sangamam. Anga Sangamam means touching the organs, not organs, the limbs, the Anga, embracing the devotees of the Lord with the sense of touch. And then Ghranam, smell. Tad Pada Saroja Saurabhe, the smelling of the lotus flower. Saroja means lotus flower, at the Tatpada, at the feet of the Lord. And also Shrimat Tulasya. The next line says Shrimat Tulasya Rasanam Tad Arpite. So Shrimat Tulasya is also part of the previous one, smelling the lotus, not the lotus, the tulsi leaves at the feet of the Lord. And then Rasanam Tad Arpite, what has been offered to the Lord as food, Rasanam, to eat that. So that is the prasad of the Lord, eating the prasad of the Lord. And then Pado, with feet, what do you do? Hareha Kshetra Pada Anusarpane. Hare Kshetra, to go to the Kshetra, to go to the holy places of Hari. Shiro Rishikesha Pada Abhivandane. With the Shiro, which means with the head, you bow down. Pada Abhivandana. Pada Abhivandana means to pay your obeisances, to bow down to Rishikesha. And then finally, Kamam cha dasye natu kama kamyaya. Kamam cha dasye. The desires should be that of a servant, das. Not na tu kama kamyaya, for the desires to be for one's own self-gratification. That is not the case. His desires were like that of a servant. The servant's desires are to always please or satisfy the master. Yatha uttama shloka jana ashrayarati. And he did this so that he can develop attachment for the Supreme Lord. So there are these 11 ways in which he used his desires, his mind, and all the faculties of his existence in the service of the Lord. So very, very celebrated set of verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, any comments or reflections on this? Any questions, anything any devotees want to share? So like this, we will keep, since we are asking for questions and sharing during the session, we'll keep going till 7:30. I have lots of such, prompts to invoke discussion. So we will keep going like this, and we will end at 7:30. So we'll go to the next one. Okay, this one is very important, very, very important. Now comes a very practical question. Of course, the previous one was also very practical, how to engage one's body or one's possessions in the service. This one is how to balance Krishna consciousness with our career. A lot of these kind of questions I get. How to balance Krishna consciousness and duty of livelihood, career, job, duties, all those things. Some people ask me, if I devote too much time to Krishna consciousness, too much energy, then my job will suffer. I may get fired if I don't, work 18 hours a day. What if I have a difficult situation in my job, if I do too much Krishna consciousness? And what if other people don't understand my attraction to Krishna consciousness and either make fun of me or discard me? The more sort of modern word these days is cancel me and things like that. So any thoughts any devotees have on this?
Leave the entire responsibility to him and he will take care of everything.
Very wonderful. Very nice. Other devotees, other thoughts? It doesn't have to be very different, because what Mataji said is very general and very broad. So it kind of encompasses everything. But please feel, please share in your words.
We should have a good morning sadhana and we should do everything for Krishna service like Ambarish Maharaj did.
Yes, very nice. Neeraj Prabhu, what do you think? I'm going to call on devotees maybe who are feeling shy.
Yeah, I think not getting much points, but I guess we can do minimalistic, as in minimalistic in the terms of job, I guess. Like we may have to, like if there's a choice to be made for a compromise, then if we have utmost faith in Lord, then why not compromise in the terms of our duties towards a career, and the duties towards devotional life.
So
but then that is very difficult. I feel like it's easy said than done.
Yes, very true. It's you bring out a good point that whatever other devotees are saying are the right points, but it is easier said than done. So that is very true. So what to do about it, about the easier said than done part?
As Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, and just my reflection I am telling, what Renuka Mataji said is true, but he said it in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, the fruits leave it to me, so that you don't get the karma in this thing and leaving the work to him. But I try a few days, the bad days, but it's not easy as, thinking about it. But still, I try to put that into perspective. So leave it to him and then going forward. So that's one thing that after listening to Bhagavad Gita, I'm trying to do that. So that's my reflection.
Very nice, very wonderful. So just to kind of put it in different words, what Sri Devi Mataji is saying, that there may be good days and there may be bad days. And it's not that there is a either or. Either I will do Krishna consciousness at a given time, or I will work on my job or duty at that time. What the point that she's bringing out is that whatever we are doing, our duty, our job, or whatever activity that we are doing, somehow or the other, we have to do it with the consciousness or with the mentality that I am doing this activity to please Krishna. This activity has been given to me and I will do it nicely. There should not be detachment from the activity. There should be the attempt to do the activity with full sincerity, with full seriousness, but not be attached to the results and leave the results to Krishna. And if we do the activity, how do we leave the results to Krishna? We do the activity to please Krishna with that mentality and pray to Krishna that he be pleased. That is the only fruit. We do not do it for any other fruit. And whether Krishna is pleased or not, we really leave it to him. And when we do it with that mentality, and we will see Krishna's reciprocation in our life, and we will realize that he actually is pleased with our activities. So we don't have to worry about any other kind of result. And just like Arjuna, he was doing this act of fighting, which is very hard. One can say, how can you fight and kill people and think that you are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna? So that takes some practice. Arjuna could do it because he got direct instructions from Krishna. But at the same time, we are fortunate that we are not going around killing people every day. We are doing much more pleasant jobs from that angle, or from that, in with respect to that. And we should find the right understanding, so that we can see how we are doing our jobs in service to Krishna. At a very minimum, we can think that whatever little I'm doing so that I can maintain my family, and the maintain my family in a way that it becomes Krishna conscious. So I have to do my duty. Like a farmer, he has to go and he has to plant the seeds, he has to cut the crop. All this he's doing so that he can maintain his family. But the main purpose of doing all this is to have a Krishna conscious family. So with that mentality, you can do your job, saying that I am doing this to maintain myself and my family and their Krishna consciousness. That is one way. There could be other ways. Actually, doctors, for example, have a very, very nice way to do their job, because they're actually involved in saving lives or helping real people. So they can see people as children of God, and they can help the people to, because they are interacting directly one-on-one with people. That can be a very powerful way. And at a more advanced level, these are people who have come with some problems. Who comes to a doctor with no problems? Okay, you come to a doctor by definition because you have some problem. So they can also give Krishna conscious advice. In addition to giving medical advice, they can give Krishna conscious advice as well, that in the long term, this is the best solution. The short term solutions can be all kind of medicines and all kind of other therapies, but the long term solution to all problems is Krishna conscious. So one can give that kind of that can be real Krishna's work, which is embedded within one's work. So there can be many ways in which one can mold one's work into Krishna consciousness. Let's see what other devotees have to say. Yes, Lakshmi Mataji, you have your hand raised.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, I could remember one saying from the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that he always preserves what his devotees has, and he
Provides what they lack.
He provides what they lack. So
Absolutely.
we should come, as you have already mentioned, so we should completely depend on him, because he knows what we need, and he is the seed giving father and all the maintainer. So I just remember that really.
Very, very important, very celebrated verse in Bhagavad Gita. It is 9.22. Ninth chapter has all these wonderful verses. So that is Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. So let's see that verse. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Janah Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Always, Ananya means exclusive. Chintayanto Mam, thinking of me. Ye Jana Paryupasate. These devotees are engaged in worshipping me. Tesham Nitya Abhiyuktanam. They are, again, Krishna is saying, they are always Nitya Abhiyuktanam, always engaged in their bhakti, their bhajan to me. And then Yoga Kshemam, I protect what they have. Yoga Kshemam means to protect what they have. Vahami Aham, I carry. Vahami. Vahami is a expansion of the word Vaha. Vaha, the Vahan word, vehicle. All these comes from the word Vaha, which means I carry. Vahami Aham, I carry whatever they lack. So I keep what they have, I carry what they lack. So that is very, very relevant. In fact, with this pastime of Parikshit, of Ambarish Maharaj, where the Lord protects Ambarish Maharaj. He protects Ambarish Maharaj. In fact, how does he let me ask this question. How does he very literally protect Ambarish Maharaj?
By he made Durvasa Muni to understand the value of the devotee. So
Okay, but I'm asking even more literally, like literally, Ambarish Maharaj is always under the protection of the Lord. How?
Sudarshan
Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra.
Yes, absolutely. So let us see this very celebrated verse. This is one of the verses I wanted to bring out here. Verse number 28. It's a very important verse where let's read the translation. Being very pleased with the unalloyed devotion of Maharaj Ambarish, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gave the king his disc, which is his Sudarshan Chakra, which is fearful to enemies and which always protects the devotees from enemies and adversities. Tasma adat harish chakram pratyanika bhayavaham ekant bhakti bhavena prito bhakta abhirakshanam. So, Tasma adad harish chakram. The Lord Hari gave his chakra to Tasma, to him. Him means to Ambarish Maharaj. He gave his chakra, his Sudarshan Chakra. Pratyanika bhayavaham. Pratyanika bhayavaham means, in the enemies, it generates bhaya, it generates fear. There is no enemy or no person who will not be afraid with Sudarshan Chakra. There is no other weapon more powerful than Sudarshan Chakra. Even the Brahmastra is not powerful enough to attack Sudarshan Chakra. Ekanta bhakti bhavena, due to the ekant means ananya, same word, ekanta, exclusive, or ananya bhakti bhavena, exclusive bhakti of the devotees, prito bhakta abhirakshanam, to do raksha of the devotees. The Lord loves prito. He's so loving. He's so pleased with the devotees. Ekanta bhakti bhava. This ekanta bhakti bhav makes the Lord a very, creates this relationship of extreme love between the devotee and the Lord. And for bhakta abhirakshanam, for the raksha of the Lord, he does this, which means he provides the Sudarshan Chakra to the devotee. So what else protection we need? We don't need any Geico insurance, any farmer's insurance, no insurance. The Sudarshan Chakra is the best insurance that can protect devotees. And even though we may not know that there is Lord's protection, we must have faith in his words, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham, that Lord will protect us from all adversities. So very nice point brought out. Yes, Shivani or Madhav, you have your hand raised.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I would like to add this point where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Griha Thako Bane Thako Sada Hari Boli Thako. So that is something that we can use. And one more thing which comes to my mind, I heard this from His Grace Amrendra Prabhu. He said that when we go out to work, that time we should think like when Krishna's friends were going into the mouth of Aghasur. We should pray to Krishna, like when they went in, they looked back at Krishna and they were relieved. They were not afraid that we are going into the mouth of Aghasur and we will be killed.
And in this case, just to add, in this case, they knew that this could be dangerous. Yeah. In other cases of other demons, they were kind of not aware, like, is this a dangerous place? But in Aghasur, they had faced so many demons, they kind of knew that this guy, Aghasur, is kind of sketchy. But like you're saying, they looked back and say, oh, no problem. Even if it is sketchy, let's go. Krishna is there. He will protect us anyway. He has protected us 1,000 times. He'll protect us again. But however, those were the high. I just want to add one point. Okay. However, those were the highest devotees. They are the Gopas, the cowherd friends of Krishna. Where are we? We are very, not even a minute fraction of devotion we have. So we should not treat like this, that, so many times, examples I have seen, I have actually literally heard, I was going on Harinam Sankirtan one time with some devotees, and it was like no walking sign. The traffic was green and the walking sign was red. And somebody said, oh, just take Krishna's name, let's walk, let's cross the road. Cars are coming and we are trying to cross the road. No, 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 no. We should not try to pretend to be like cowherd boys that, oh, there may be danger, let's take it on. That should not be the mood of devotees. We should do everything on our own to take care of ourselves. We should not just walk into danger. Okay. And not even like, oh, we are doing service to Krishna, we are doing Sankirtan. So because we are serving Krishna, let's put ourselves in danger. It is okay to put yourself in danger when there is no other way, but not unnecessarily, not for fun, not to demand Krishna's interference. Oh, Krishna, I am doing your job, you come and protect me. That is like a soldier saying to the, before going into the war, the soldier says, oh, you give me 10 people around me to protect me, then I will go and fight in the war. It doesn't happen like that. So we cannot, devotees never demand Krishna's protection. Devotees always try to serve Krishna and never take any unnecessary risks if the service can still be done without a risk. But in some very extreme cases, yes, to serve Krishna when there is no other way, devotees definitely take risk. But that one should first be at that level of consciousness and that much faith to take risk for Krishna. So that Aghasur example is very, very nice, but it should not be misinterpreted and misused by devotees like me who are in the beginning stage. So just wanted to add that part as well.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That
Yes.
really helped me greater insight on this very topic.
Sushilpa Mataji, you have your hand raised. Is that?
Yes, Prabhuji. I just wanted to, say something that I have been thinking. When I think about, like doing this spiritual, this is my spiritual time, this is my material time, then, it's really hard to find time for, a lot of time for spiritual activities. So we probably do an hour or 2 hours of spiritual at the most, and then we have to do so many other activities, material things that we have to do every day. So just like you said, just by changing the consciousness, like we can make instead of thinking material and spiritual, I've been thinking, because this is the direct devotional time to Krishna, and this is the indirect devotional time to Krishna. So everything becomes spiritual just by changing the consciousness. So the direct is, like not doing anything else, but, only focusing only on Krishna. But indirect could be, you could be cleaning the house or dishes or going to work or gardening, be it anything, you can think you're cooking for Krishna, or when you're doing gardening or you're growing vegetables or flowers for Krishna, so we can offer it to Krishna. And when we are cleaning the house or doing the dishes, we can think we are cleaning Krishna's house, thinking this has to be Krishna's house. Or when we are working, we can think, okay, I'm working, so I can feed myself, and whatever I can offer to Krishna, we can offer, do it, use that money for devotional service of Krishna. By just changing the consciousness, as you said, we can make, like 24 hours, even though we're doing materialistic things, just a change of consciousness, we can just do everything, make it spiritual. So I just wanted to say that.
Very nice. Very, very nice point. And in that case, like you're saying, if you're doing gardening, you think that it is I'm doing gardening for Krishna's garden, or if I'm cleaning the dishes, I'm cleaning Krishna's dishes. One should actually try to then make the temple as the home of, or make the home as the temple of the Lord, and then whatever one is doing in the house, one can do it with the consciousness that I'm doing it for the Lord. That analogy, or not that analogy, but that consciousness cannot come if one has not made his home a temple of the Lord. So the first step is to make the home the temple of the Lord, which means to give a place to the Lord in the home, and whether it is a picture or a deity or whatever. And secondly, really have that consciousness that this home belongs to the Lord. It is his home, we are the guests. Not it is my home and they are the guests and they have to live within the means. No, they are the ones whose home it is, and we are trying to live within the means. So that is the first step. And then whatever we are doing in the house, we are doing it as a service to Krishna. And then next level, what happens is, and this is what we will read in some of the verses that are related to this verse. I have my notes here, which I'm looking at my other screen. If you see, all these verses are kind of, you will see, and these are some points that I wanted to make. So I'm just saying that, this is part of my preparation for the class. But the thing is, then he simplifies our life. So like you mentioned, very good point. There is like, oh, time for Krishna, time for my job, career, duties. And so many things are there. Oh, this thing is not working, that is not working. I have to spend time on this, spend time on that. Krishna, when he sees we are trying to struggle, when we are trying to find time sincerely to serve him, to do things to please him, he simplifies our life. He takes measures behind the curtains, behind the scenes, so that the problems begin to go away and more time gets generated. One may think that, oh, my children are not doing homework and I have to struggle to make them do homework. Where is the time to do Krishna consciousness? If one, just as an example, if one is sincerely doing Krishna consciousness, one will realize, oh, children have also become very nice. They are doing their homework on their own. You don't need to run behind them. So now you can use that time for Krishna consciousness. Or, whatever may be broken in one's life starts getting fixed, so that Krishna will enable that, so that you can spend more time towards him. He wants us to turn our attention to him. So why would he give us all these interruptions which will take away our attention? He will try to fix those things so that we can put our attention on Krishna. But first we have to show our sincerity, our seriousness to put our attention to Krishna. He begins to interfere in our life to simplify it, to make the problems go away. So let's see the example of Ambarish Maharaj, and let's read these verses 21 to 24. Just the translations we will read. Maybe one devotee can read like we do in our other class, 21 to 24. This page, what I'm showing on the screen. Anybody would like to read these translation of 4 verses? Somebody who has not spoken, who may be shy to ask too many questions, at least you can see and read on the screen. Let's see who has not spoken anything. Aarti Mataji, are you there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Can you read these translations, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 21. In performing his prescribed duties as King Mahārāja Ambarīṣa always offered the results of his royal activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is the enjoyer of everything and beyond the perception of material senses. He certainly took advice from Brahmanas who were faithful devotees of the Lord, and thus he ruled the planet Earth without difficulty.
Okay, just stop. Yes. So thus he ruled the planet Earth without difficulty. You see here? So today presidents spend all their time trying to rule one small country. So much trouble is there in a small piece of land. Maharaj Ambarish was the ruler of the whole world, and he could rule it without difficulty because in performing his prescribed duties, he always offered the results of his royal activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So because he was operating in that way, the difficulties went away. Okay, next one. We will see here how even in desert country, in desert, if people are living and you are responsible for them, you have to make sure they have a good livelihood. People who are living in difficult conditions. We will see here rivers started flowing in the desert. So the king's job became easy. He doesn't have to do all this building a dam and providing water and this and that, if automatically rivers start flowing in the desert. Please go ahead.
In desert countries where flowed the river Saraswati, Mahārāja Ambarīṣa performed great sacrifices like the Ashwamedha Yagna and thus satisfied the master of all yagnas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such sacrifices were performed with great opulence and suitable paraphernalia with contributions of dakshina to the Brahmanas, who were supervised by great personalities like Vasishta, Asita, and Gautama, representing the king, the performer of the sacrifices.
Yes. So he was performing all these sacrifices to the Supreme Lord in all these areas, desert areas everywhere, and there was full prosperity in those areas. Okay, next verse, Mataji.
In the sacrifice arranged by Mahārāja Ambarīṣa, the members of the assembly and the priests, especially Hota, Udgata, Brahma, and Advaryu, were gorgeously dressed, and they all looked exactly like demigods. They eagerly saw to the proper performance of the yagna.
Please keep going.
The citizens of the state of Mahārāja Ambarīṣa were accustomed to chanting and hearing about the glorious activities of the personality of Godhead. Thus, they never aspired to be elevated to the heavenly planets, which are extremely dear even to the demigods. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. This last one is also so nice, that because of Ambarish Maharaj's pure devotional service, even the citizens became devotees. And therefore, there was no criminal activity. There was, if all the citizens become very nice, very pious, very devoted, then the job of the king becomes very easy. Now, many of you may be team leaders, right? In your little company, you may be a manager or a team leader. If all the people under you are perfectly doing their job with maximum, in the best way, the job of the manager or team leader becomes so easy. So due to his wonderful devotional service to the Lord, all the citizens were so nice and so pious, and therefore he had no much work to do. So this is his case, but when we do our devotional service nicely, our life begins to become unentangled, begins to become resolved automatically. And automatically means because Krishna is behind the scenes, he is doing his part, and then we can do more and more and more devotional service. So that is the sort of the discussion that I wanted to have, that what if I have a difficult situation? Krishna will do things to simplify the difficult situation if we are showing enough seriousness and sincerity in our devotional service. What if others do not understand my Krishna consciousness? Krishna will make sure that they understand and make them devotees also. By association of pure devotees, others also become devotee. So in the beginning, they may not understand our attraction to Krishna consciousness, but later, sooner or later, depending on our sadhana, they will understand. I can say this in my life, at least in my team, everybody knows that, Friday onwards and, afternoon onwards, I'm going to be busy for this class or that class. Nobody sets a meeting for me and they say, oh, you are busy. I know, we know. They kind of, they generally kind of over the years begin to respect sort of the overall, there are many examples I can give from my own life where many people who have themselves nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, but they immensely respect the fact that I am doing it, and they work their stuff around my commitments. So I'm very lucky in that sense that these things are happening. But this is all Krishna's mercy. It's not because of my strong sadhana, but I feel very inspired by that, and I feel that others can also. Krishna will definitely reciprocate in everybody's life like this. So yeah, any other points, any reflections, any comments?
Prabhuji, I have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We discussed this in Bhagavad Gita as well, but I just wanted to know, what ways, what are the different ways that Ambarish Maharaj has offered the results, whatever he was doing, how to offer the results, like if we can elaborate a little bit, practically, how to offer the results, of whatever we earn or whatever we do. One way how I've been doing is, giving the credit to Krishna, that whatever I'm able to do, because of Krishna is giving me the ability to, to do that work, and I'm giving the credit to Krishna. But sometimes, like I hear from different devotees that like normally we are supposed to offer money, or like 50% of the money that we earn, to Krishna, which sometimes may not be practically possible. So I just wanted to, you to let us know different practical ways of offering the results.
Okay, so many questions there, I think. So your first point was how, if it can be described, how Ambarish Maharaj was doing that. So the primary mechanism that he was doing that was through yagyas. And through the yagyas, like it's not mentioned in much detail here, and I can only say, I'm just repeating what I am reading. I don't have any more information or knowledge than what is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada's purports. But through yagyas, like Ashwamedha Yagya is the most elaborate, the most high magnitude yagya that a king can do. Maharaj Yudhishthir performed it, Prithu Maharaj performed it, Ambarish Maharaj, all the great devotee kings performed this yagya. And through this yagya, the citizens get prosperity, the Brahmanas get prosperity, everybody gets prosperity. So basically that was the mechanism. Now in modern days, now coming to the next part of your question, in modern days, how can we do it? So forget about the kings and the presidents and prime ministers. What can we do? That was your question. And your question somewhere also specifically went into how much money to donate, because yes, Rupa Goswami, in his example from the Chaitanya Charitamrita itself, it is said that when he went to Lord Chaitanya, he was, I forget, Dabir Khas or Sakar Malik. I always get confused. One of them is Sanatan Goswami and one of them is Rupa Goswami. They were like top ministers in the ministry of the king. Again, long story short, we won't go into the details of how they ended up serving a Muslim king, Nawab Hussain Shah. They were basically forced to do that because the king wanted to keep these two very elevated Brahmanas under his control so that the rest of the community will not do any rebellion or mutiny. And to not cause that, they agreed to serve the Muslim king very, very unwillingly or reluctantly. So anyway, and because of that, they got a lot of remuneration. And one fine day, based on Lord Chaitanya's instructions, they left the service of the king and went in the shelter of Lord Chaitanya and to reside in Vrindavan. So Rupa Goswami divided his wealth that he had accumulated in this way. 50% he gave it to the Vaishnavas who were involved in spreading the message and the holy name of the Lord. 25% he gave it to his relatives and whoever were, his relatives, family members. He was not married himself, but he had other relatives, specifically one younger brother by the name Anupam, who happened to be the father of yet another wonderful Goswami, Jiva Goswami. And 25% he kept for a rainy day, which actually was used later by Sanatan Goswami to get out of jail. So that is the distribution that is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita of Rupa Goswami's wealth that he did. Now, Rupa Goswami is Rupa Goswami. So yes, sometimes devotees mention that that should be the case, that one should give 50% of the wealth. Now, I have heard different versions. That was the money that he saved. That was his saving. And when he was about to quit and completely go into the shelter of Lord Chaitanya, which means he was going to take sannyas. And Lord Chaitanya, instructed him to go to Vrindavan and write scriptures. So he was basically renouncing all material wealth. We are not Goswami. We are not taking sannyas. And it is about the saving. It is not about the income. Whatever income we get, 50% anyway, Uncle Sam takes it. So if we were to give remaining 50% away, we would be left with zero. Half give it to Uncle Sam, half give it to Vaishnavas. Then, that would be very nice. Then we can go take sannyas. But that is not the case. That is not our level. So we must start somewhere. Many of us are starting at zero level. Before I came into Krishna consciousness, yes, my father was a, very, very nice charitable man. He taught me to give charity. But so my point is, try to increase little bit. Don't have this mentality of hoarding too much, and start from that level. And then, under guidance of spiritual master and other devotees, one can see how to progress in their devotional life. And how much you donate or how much money you give for Krishna conscious purposes is nothing but a reflection of our progress in our spiritual life. It should not be a thing that, oh, if I'm not giving 50%, then I'm a bad person. That should not be the case. One should take it in the same perspective that, oh, Haridas Thakur was chanting 192 rounds. So if you're not doing that, then, you're, a bad person. Rupa Goswami gave 50% of his wealth. If I'm not doing that, I'm a bad person. Like that, if we start comparing, then it will be a big problem. So we should start, like we start with chanting. Somebody starts with 4 rounds, 2 rounds of chanting, 16 rounds. And then, so one can increase. I'm sure you know of devotees right now who are doing so many rounds, more than 16. You know who I'm talking about. So, there can be, the point is there are various levels, and one should not think that I need to imitate or get to some level and then I am great. Internal consciousness, even if you give and then you are always thinking of the money. Oh, I gave so much, I gave away everything just to kind of, meet some internal standard I gave, but your mind is always fixed on the fact that, oh, I gave away everything. That is not giving. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, that those who are pretending to be renouncers, but the mind still dwells on the sense objects, are called what? Pretenders. I think it is verse number 6 in the 3rd chapter, 3.6. So they are called pretenders. So that also one has to be. Am I still sharing the screen? Let's look at the pretender verse. If I'm not wrong, it is 6th, I mean. Yes. One who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So yes, I can restrain my senses, which means I can donate 50%, but my mind is always now there. That is not recommended. So one should bring oneself up to the level of a Goswami. Automatically, you giving away 50% will be a byproduct. It will be a no-brainer at that point for you. So that should be the outcome of one's spiritual progress. That should not be the defining step of your spiritual progress. Does that help answer some part of it?
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely it answers the money part. Can you also let us know about, how to offer our activities, like the results of the activities that we do on a day-to-day basis, to Krishna? The different ways of doing it.
Yes, that can be different in many, many different ways. Many different ways, very highly dependent on the situation. So it is hard to answer in a sort of a very something that will give a crisp answer, but will apply to everyone. So, for example, if let's say you gave the example, and I remember this one example that if a badminton player is playing very good badminton. This was actually a question that was asked to me, and so it stuck in my head. How can I do it as a devotional service, or how can I do it with the consciousness of offering the results to Krishna? So let's say you are a very good player. Now that's a very, very hard example. And one can think that, yes, like you said, actually, that all this strength that I have got, all this talent that I have got, it is so wonderful because it's coming from Krishna. And after playing my game, after playing this, I will go and do my devotional service and I will thank Krishna. So one is doing all this, but in his mind, it is like he wants to go back and do the devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gives this example in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The example is a little bit, tough to understand, but this is given directly by Lord Chaitanya, so I'll mention it. It's like a girl who is in the love with a boy, and parents don't know about it. Okay, so she is trying to hide her sort of affair with this boy, and so she tries to do all her work very nicely in the home, whatever her duties are, her studies, his this and that, everything she does very perfectly, so that she can find the time to go and meet the boy. So the point is that while she is doing all this work, at the back of the mind is, oh, I have to do it very nicely so that nobody will suspect, nobody will make out. I quickly finish all this with very high quality so that I can go and meet my friend. And so that consciousness is there while you are doing the work. The consciousness is there, and then you go and meet your friend. So like that, one can do the work in Krishna consciousness, even though that work that girl is doing in the house, which her father has given, is not directly related to meeting her friend, but she's still doing that. At the back of mind, it is Krishna conscious. Another very good example I can say, I have experienced this in my life. In our lives, there are some very strenuous situations. If a family member is very sick, maybe very close to the end of their life, or if something else very strenuous is happening, somebody is dealing with some lawsuit or some court case, or maybe some chronic problem with the child. I know some devotees and some people whose children have some problems which are very hard to resolve, maybe with the speech or with any other thing. They are constantly thinking of that problem, even when doing the work and all. So when we can think of that problem, whatever we are doing, it means we are very attached to that. That attachment is causing that to be at the back of the mind, regardless of whatever we are doing. Therefore, it is possible that if we had the same attachment for Krishna, then we can do all our work, but have that at the back of our mind in the same way as we have the thoughts of our loved ones at the back of our mind. The difference is we love our loved ones so much that they occupy the back of our mind, but we don't love Krishna enough that he occupies the back of our mind all the time. That is the difference. So whatever we are doing, if Krishna can be there at the back of our mind, like that girl whose boyfriend is at the back of her mind all the time so that she can quickly do her work and go spend time with her boyfriend, then whatever work we are doing will become Krishna conscious, if that friend whom we are waiting to go spend time with is Krishna. So like that, I know it is theoretical. For me, definitely it is theoretical because I don't have attraction for Krishna, but this is what I can say. Hopefully you, I, and all of us can together get there someday, where we are so attracted to Krishna that we are always wanting to go do Krishna's work, and whatever else we are doing is just a supporting work so that we can go do that. Just like the girl, I have to do my housework so that my father doesn't make out, he doesn't figure out, and then all this as support structure so that I can go do my real work. Does that help answer a little bit?
Oh yes, Prabhuji, beautiful, beautiful answer. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we are very late, almost 7:45, 15 minutes over. So we will stop here and we will continue. I have many topics like this of discussion on the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj. Just quick feedback, was this format okay to kind of make it more interactive, Q&A based, learning based? Yes. Sushilpa Mataji, I think you had.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely helps us to think also, not just listen and leave. It makes us to think to your questions and give some answers.
Yeah, that's what I also wanted to achieve, to kind of integrate some takeaways for us, not just come and enjoy Harikatha, which is very good itself, just to enjoy and relish Harikatha, but also some, our churning of the brain or mind.
Thanks for doing it, Prabhuji.
Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, so looks like this format is, we'll keep trying this out and we will see. Okay, thank you so much. So we are going to start our new series of Bhagavad Gita in couple of weeks. Please, I know you have already spread the message. Keep it at the back of your mind. Spread the message more with your friends and acquaintances, and also share with them, not just forward, but share personal touch. If you have got benefit from the class, please share it with others so that they can also be inspired to understand Lord Krishna's message. So please do that and help the spreading of Lord Krishna's message. Srila Prabhupada has taken so much effort to spread the message. Let us all do our little part in spreading the message. Okay. And if they cannot come to the class, no problem. Class is not the point. The main point is getting the message. So if that, give them the book, give them Bhagavad Gita. If they don't want book, give them the website, Veda-based website at least. Give them that so that they can read. Somehow, yena kena prakarena, one way or the other, somehow connect them to Krishna. Okay? So please do that.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.